Hi guys, I'm Irene. This is Perpetually Paperback, and today we're going to be talking about Bridgerton. Alright, so this video is going to be a review of the Bridgerton Netflix series. Actually, I don't know that it's not a review. I guess it's kind of a review, but it's mostly a comparison of the TV series to the book The Duke and I by Julia Quinn, which is essentially which is what the Bridgerton series was based on. So I'm just gonna come out right away, right off the gate, and tell you, I honestly didn't really care for either, but I really didn't like the book. The series, I actually like, the series was okay. Was it my favorite? No. Love Regency romance though, and will basically watch anything. So like at the end of the day, did I not like it? Definitely no, I enjoyed it. Casting, I was pretty happy with the casting. I really liked, and I'm starting with the show because it's what I watched first. The show led me to want to read the book ultimately. I was so wrong. All right, so the series, I like the colorblind. So the Netflix series was a colorblind casting. Love that. I thought that was really great. I thought the actors were really gorgeous, so definitely happy about that, and kind of all the way around. There were a lot more pros to the actual TV series, I felt. Now, there were some cons. We'll get to them. Now, I think this is the point where I'll probably start, and I have my notes right here, so I'll probably start kind of going a little bit back and forth. So there are definitely elements of the TV series that they added to make it a much more engaging series. So there are obvious differences there, and those I understand, completely get it. Those don't even bother me. If anything, I'll say I probably like them more, actually. Certain characters in the TV series, like Penelope, like Lady Whistledown, like, who's the other one? Eloise, all amazing in the actual TV series. Those were great parts, completely different from the book. So if you haven't read the book, be careful, because I'm probably going to actually release a spoiler at some point. I'm sure of it. I probably will. If you have, then stick around. Okay, so I'm going to start talking about the book. And, where do I even start on the book? Honestly. Okay, so I would say I'm a historical romance princess. Because I am not yet a queen. I have not gone that far. I have not read that much to be able to say enough about it. But what I can say is, from what I've read, this actually was one that I didn't care for. This was the first one that, if I had not been doing this for a video idea, I probably would have honestly DNF'd the book. I very seriously thought about just DNFing the book about halfway through. But I persevered. Was it worth it? No. So, first off, the book does not have any people of color at all. It is white like bread. It is just, yeah. Apparently Julia Quinn says that she does not write anything but white characters because their other characters would be mean to them. I think that's a writer's stylistic choice, but you know what? That's not for me to comment on, really. I can just tell you that there was none. All right, so outside of that, the actual structure, the way that the story is told in the book is obviously very different. The way you learn about the relationship between Simon and his father, you actually get that up front, which I actually think helped. Of course, you're gonna get a lot more depth of a character in the book. You definitely got more of that, but honestly, I don't know that it was, I don't know how much it actually helped. I mean, yes, it did create or give the characters more depth, but they still weren't good. Like the second note I literally have is, all of the characters were awful. They're just all kind of unlikable. Simon especially. Like, I think I've only read 2 romances, and at this point I've read, upwards of, 10, 15, at least I can say of those, there have really been only 2 male protagonists that I've just found really repulsive, and Simon is honestly kind of one. I feel bad because he's got here's my, I digress. Let me continue. most of the characters in this one were really annoying. The brothers were actually much better in the TV series. Yes, they were still annoying, but they just became insufferable and almost to the point of like far beyond, I think, what a brother like it would do. They just all overstepped in weird ways. The relationship and the dynamic with them was weird. It made sense because they were obviously, one of them was Simon's best friend. They were all friends with him. So there was something of that. But really in the book, I didn't enjoy that. When we get to Daphne, another character I didn't enjoy, but maybe my biggest criticism, I would say, is not necessarily a criticism of the book and more just something that I don't like. So I have found rather that I don't really care for when it's a historical romance and the female protagonist is only interested in being married. I realized that was a vast majority of women at the time. Like, I get it, it's accurate. I just don't find that particularly interesting. I don't think that that's a character with a whole lot of depth. Maybe it's just because I don't care. Like, I don't know that I necessarily want to, like, read a book about someone that is hunting for a husband like that. Like, I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. And then at the end, the characters makes it, like, they all do terrible things to each other. They're just kind of all horrible people. And then you're just like, I just want you to love me. That's not romantic. Okay, so as we have Daphne doing all these things, and she's constantly like, they'd like to pull this whole, like, I'm not like other girls, even though she's doing all of the things that every other girl at the time would be doing, like searching for a husband and trying to catch one. Simon also does this thing, both in the book and the TV show, I feel like, was like, make just sweeping overgeneralizations about women as a whole that were just really, like, totally sexist. So yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe I just have read so much other historical romance that's just, it feels more progressive and just feels more about kind of women taking over their own destiny. This one was not that. Like, not that at all. If anything, Daphne then goes through and, like, a lot of people have talked about it. I don't know that it's a spoiler at this point, but there is a scene, spoiler alert, I'm getting into it, I'm going to talk about it. So if this is not a subject you like, if this is going to be rape and sexual trauma, if this is not a subject you like, click away from this video because I'm going to get into it. So this is a scene that takes place both in the book and in the TV show. And the only thing I want to say is, why? When you are taking a piece of material and already making changes to make it more interesting and dynamic, you also have the ability to, I mean, you're changing it anyway. Why not do this? So there is a scene where basically the whole point is they end up getting married. Her and Simon get married, and she basically gets him drunk one night and basically takes advantage of him while he's drunk and makes him flower inside her. And he just didn't want to do that. He was very against it. And then he kind of has this whole issue where his, like, stammer comes out and she didn't know about it. It was actually kind of like a really traumatic scene in the book. And also just, you know, marital rape is an issue. Then on the Netflix show, they show the scene and they don't talk about it. They don't make it better. They don't use it as anything. They just kind of leave it. So it's almost like, then it just kind of begged the question, like, why would you leave it? I don't know. It was confusing to me. I'm surprised they did. And in a way, I don't know that I understand exactly why, because they didn't really make anything of it. And that was kind of my issue with it also in the book, is I don't like things like that, as like traumatic experiences, and then have them just be glazed over. The way that it's resolved is Simon essentially goes away for 2 months, and then at some point her brother shows up and he just, like, decides that he's done being mad at her, and then they're okay. And then Daphne's over here acting like she's the victim, which I'm just like, I don't even understand why anyone would choose to leave that in, greenlight that whole thing, and then not make it like a learning lesson or learning moment or like anything. So that, I would say, for me, is the biggest criticism I have with the TV show. Did it ruin it for me? I can honestly say no, it didn't. It just kind of left sort of a sour taste in my mouth, and I hope they do a little bit better in the rest of them, but I can't necessarily say that I know what happens in the rest of them. The reason I say that is because I was like totally, yeah, I could totally knock out the series. Like whatever, it's not even a big thing. Honestly, I don't think I can. I really disliked that book. I gave it 1 star. Yeah, that's about as much dislike as possible. Really, I really just should have stopped reading it and continued. And it wasn't worth it. So far, like, I don't know why. I'm not a big DNFer, but like, I feel like I really need to be, because I usually know when I'm gonna not like a book. Like I was really looking for a saving grace to kind of finish that up and bring that story in really neatly, and it didn't at all. It almost felt very unresolved and like a raw elephant in the room. Like it wasn't cute. I didn't like it. So, in conclusion, this is a comparison video. So, comparison of the book versus the Netflix show. I'm gonna say the Netflix show is a winner on this one. It probably was like a B-. I can't say that I didn't enjoy it. It was a B- for obvious reasons, I think, as described in the video thus far. The book, on the other hand, was a 1 star, and I don't know if I can torture myself to even read the others. Do I care enough? I don't know. I don't honestly know. The only character at this point that I'm interested in finding out what even happens about them is Eloise, who was not in this book at all. She's actually kind of young in the first book. So I think it's going to be the brothers, who I found completely insufferable. If there was anyone more insufferable than Simon, if you could believe it, the brothers were that. So I don't honestly know that I care to read anything about them. We'll see. I don't know. You're definitely going to hear it here if I do. But at this point, we may leave it here. And I shall move on to other writers, other romance writers. We'll see. Well, I do actually really want to test out other romance writers. I haven't explored that many, so I was actually really excited to read a Julia Quinn, see if her writing style was something that I liked, see if her stories were something that vibed with me. It wasn't a vibe. So if someone can tell me about some others, I would love some recommendations that would steer me in the direction after having heard what I thought about this. So thank you for stopping by, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.